Jobs, jobs, jobs. They're everywhere. They're somehow everywhere. There's one there, that's one there. All you gotta do is just apply, bro, alright? Go on Indeed, click quick apply, then trust me, bro, you're gonna get your job. Come on, you're just being a doubter. You're being a doomer. You're just doubting, alright? Just look at the news, bro. There's tons of jobs. Every single day. You just gotta apply yourself, bro. Just gotta apply yourself. Yeah. What a fat load of shit that is. Look, I think everyone kind of knows today that there aren't any jobs. Alright? The propaganda machine on the news is just. It's just not true. Alright? You see so many jobs everywhere. You know, so many job listings, job postings on Indeed or any other type of job board that you can get your hands on, and just throw out applications like it's fucking nothing. And unfortunately, you just find nothing. You know? It's really strange just to have it inundated with you on the news, on mainstream news, by the way, not like the internet news. Mainstream news is just a bunch of propaganda at this point. They just lie to you. They're blatantly lying that the economy is better than ever. That, oh yes, you have tons of jobs available. Guys, the unemployment rate's down. But anyways, you know, the unemployment rate's down. That's what they say. Again, load of bullshit, you know? A bunch of lies. And good luck trying to get an interview hooked up. My god. You know, you can get all these notifications and acceptance emails that you're put into, you know, the hiring process or whatever. And yeah, you better pray that an actual human being sees you. I think it's been stated by plenty of other people. It's an algorithm that looks at all of your shit. Like, you know, if it doesn't have the right keywords or it's not formatted correctly or any number of ambiguous things that you can have on your application and resume, fuck me. You better pray to the AI gods that an actual human being will look at your application, will actually look at it. And trust me, it doesn't even get any better if you do get hired. My god, it's a limbo, you know? So you have no job and you're unemployed and you have no money, and some of y'all, especially for me, you're living at home trying to get work, had an internship, didn't have, contract ended, tried to get hired on full time, didn't work out. But you know, it's one thing to not be employed, it's another thing to be employed. The level of tomfuckery with like these big corporations, and my god, it's bad with the tomfoolery that goes on there. Having you stay on for ridiculous amounts of overtime, having you do these strange courses, especially, well, it's not so much nowadays, but you know, have to have, you know, the diversity courses. I had to go through it with my internship. God, it was awful. It was boring as hell. Entirely pointless. But yeah, I have to go through all these hoops just to get a slave wage at this company that's making millions. And, you know, it's one thing to be humble and accept like a decent paying wage, but my god, some people, some of these people have like hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt for like actual degrees. Like, these aren't like BS degrees. I'm a lucky fella because, you know, my family paid for it. My grandpa paid for my school, so I don't have student loan debt. So it's not as bad. But I can completely understand the pressure from some other fellas who have student loan debt, need to get work, and it's not like a retarded fucking, you know, degree like gender studies or anything, like an actual business degree like me, and you can't find fucking work. Can't get a job. And once you do get a job, you're treated like dog shit most of the time. Unfortunately. It's an unfortunate circumstance because, you know, the propaganda system likes to pin it to where young people are evil and should be treated like dog shit all of the time. Thankfully, I haven't dealt with any of that yet, and any of the times I wasn't employed anywhere. Like, I always came on time, I did my work, and try to help out best as I can. But, you know, I hear stories plenty of times of, like, dudes who are just treated like utter dog shit because they're just younger, and I don't understand why. What's the point of it? Why is there such a malice towards the next generation? Never understood that. But back on point, you have your job now, if you're lucky, but it doesn't get much better than that, because you have constantly rising bills and whatnot. Constantly rising bills, tons of payments to make back to debts and loans. And you need to get debt in order to actually apply for, a car loan, a mortgage, any number of things. Like, it's an entirely debt-based economy, which is just insane to me. I'll never be okay with that. I'll never see that as normal or okay. I just accept it for what it is because I can't change it. But, you get paid a pittance wage, you get paid dog shit, and you have all these bills. And I remember some sort of statistics, like, was it like 40% of a person's income goes to bills alone? Which is insane. And some of the older people who are quite out of touch with how bad things have gotten, i.e. boomers, saying that you just gotta keep pulling yourself by the bootstraps, not realizing, at least for the United States, that this country is not what it was 60 years ago. It's a foolish errand. It's a fool's errand to try and recreate something that can't be created again. The number of factors involved in trying to make, post-war United States, like Cold War era America, is never going to happen again. That period is gone, and it's never coming back. So I just think it's an unrealistic viewpoint to say, you just gotta do it how I did it, even though the circumstances have changed. You cannot tell me that at least most of the jobs have not been taken by immigrants, by people who are not us. I'm sorry to say, I don't think it's fair to people who were born and raised here, paid taxes, had blood and soil relation to this land, to be pushed aside for unlimited Indians. Like, for example, in Canada, my God, I feel bad for the Canadians. And I feel bad for some of the Canadians who are ethnically Indian, but were raised Canadian. Like, you have the unwashed masses of people brought here to take up all the basic level jobs, not even the high level jobs, professional jobs. Like doctors. No, gas station clerk. Stalker. For me, fucking cashier. I've seen an Indian work at the cashier. I've seen Indians work at a fucking Mexican restaurant. Haven't seen a Mexican there at all. You kidding me? No Mexican people at the Mexican restaurant. The Mexican food there is really good, but, it's kind of a bit weird to not see Mexican people. You're going to think twice when you see a bunch of Indians running a Mexican place. Like, come on. That's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Am I racist? No. But I don't think it's really fair to people who are born here and raised here to have their jobs, any job prospects taken away because, we found someone cheaper because of the free market. I don't care about the free market. The free market's not a god. The free market is merely a means to an end. Why are we worshiping the free market and the numbers must go up, and having brought in unlimited numbers of unwashed masses from any number of third world country to fill the jobs? I don't accept that. That's absurd. And all the people who do have jobs feel the squeeze. Their employers are expecting more for less, to be paid for less. And I don't think that's fair. That's an unfair expectation to have of people who are already struggling in terms of finances, to be expected to work more, work harder, to work for less. It's just not fair. And every day, our money is wasted on something else, on some government project to try and fix society, when maybe it's time for the government to just accept the fact that it can't fix every damn problem with another government program. Or maybe that it's time to accept that the government can't do everything. And we can't fix the world and make a heaven on earth through just enough social programs, enough social housing, enough social workers. It's just not enough. It will never be enough because you can't make the world perfect. And the people that are struggling, both employed and unemployed, it sucks because you're treated like you're told that you're a failure, that you don't have work, even though you can't control much of it because no employer will accept you, even for the basic bitch jobs. Like, come on. It's unfair to those who are unemployed and those who are employed, who are being squeezed by their employers to do more for less. That's not a fair exchange. And the people who rule us, it seems like they aren't concerned with the problems that are happening to decent and common people. They're more concerned with some bullshit ideology on either side instead of actually addressing real economic problems that face our people, face peoples in all nations. But I'm just yapping at this point, and I think you just gotta keep trying, because what else you're going to do, pretty much. It's either you keep trying to apply for a job, trying to get a job, and just try and keep your job as best you can, or you just don't do anything at all. That's honestly how it is at this point. But all it takes is just some persistence and acceptance that, yeah, you might get, laid off, and you might not have all the money, but at least you gotta keep trying. At least have some hope, some cope. But that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for listening. Goodbye.